stories.
That's incredible. Many people struggle with sexual shame or feeling disconnected from their partners.
Of saying it is that they feel disconnected from their partners because it is also themselves. But I think that some people don't go to that level yet to say I'm not feeling connected to myself. But they will say I feel like I'm having sex with a fish or a blow-up doll or things like that. And I hate to be like blunt, but that's what I hear oftentimes.
I was actually speaking with my father last night as a short segue, but not segue. It's a short detour and coming back to this because it's very pertinent to what you just said. My grandmother told my father, this is probably 50 years ago when my parents were getting married. She said, it's very important that you understand that the two main things that cause strife in a marriage are finances and in the bedroom. So you have to keep both of them good between both of you, or else you're going to have a very difficult marriage. And I was like, that's so interesting you mentioned that because I heard that literally last night during the Sunday night football game. And I was like, oh, lovely how this comes back around.
Full circle.
Because I also have dealt in that realm as well, as far as feeling disconnected or feeling unexpressive emotionally. And maybe that's a man thing. And I've gotten a lot better by working on myself and actually being strong enough to say how I truly feel. Not what I think they want to hear, not what I think I should be saying, but actually how I truly feel. And everything is possible to be said with kindness and compassion. There's no excuse for not. It can be said in a way that is non-harmful and not, say, egoic, or it's not meant to harm, but it is still true. And so you've worked with such a huge range of clients, so celebrities, everyday people, athletes. What are some common misperceptions people have about Tantra in intimacy coaching? What are some things that people totally get wrong?
This is a really great question rather, that I'm going to do like a whole series on this because I think I could do a whole series just on the misconceptions. And to go back to what your mom said, laser focused in what she was saying, so accurately said. Sex and money are the two reasons why people get divorced today. It can be, this, that, and the other, but in the end, it boils down to those things: finances and sex, because there's no other relationship on the planet that literally differentiates your relationship from your marriage or your monogamous relationship. The only thing is sex.
Right.
Everything else you have in a friendship, you have in a mother, son, mother, daughter, and a colleague, and a friend, and a niece, nephew. What differentiates those intimate relationships from a marriage or a monogamous relationship? It's sex, or being sexually intimate, even if, they're not physically fully allowed to have full sex because of some body things or whatnot. Sexual energy, intent, and activities, right? So if you're not doing those, then what are you doing? You're rooming it. So your roommates, like I always say, you have a glorified roommate, and that's fine, but like, don't call it a marriage then, or don't call it a working marriage. That's what I always say at that moment. But yeah, to answer your question around the biggest misconceptions, one is people automatically assume that because I'm this tantric, intimacy master or therapist, if you will, that there's some kind of sexual involvement that happens between me and them. It's very strange. I'm like, I don't know if it's just because the energy that's been given around this topic, it's so taboo that people are like, oh, I'm like, you honestly think I go on these podcasts talking about like millions of viewers, and then you're just going to call me up and then we're having a sexual exchange? Like, no, like, I don't know. I still get amazed every time when, or at my retreats, when people would say, I'm ready to go, I got my STI results. I'm like, awesome. Thank you for sharing, I guess. Like,
wow, really?
I always tell them, I say, listen, you can keep those to yourself. Like, you don't need to share those with anyone except for a partner, sure, it's awesome, I'm glad you're taking care. Like, it's just, that's the biggest misconception, is that people think because I deal with sex, because there is sexual matters that we talk about, that we deal with, there's activities that we do that address these topics and these challenges and these issues, that there's some kind of sexual engagement that happens with me, or that they come to my retreat and it's this giant orgy.
Right.
And it's like, I'm just like, okay, this is so sad, because like you said in the beginning, we can have this violence on TV, or I even say, I take a step further, we have so much sex in every advertisement known to man, from
Right.
Super Bowl commercials to television to movies to what we listen to the videos, rap videos, to TikTok to Instagram. There's sex everywhere. But if you have someone like me who comes in and says, hey, we're going to talk about this, we're going to deal with this from a science and spiritual perspective, the science of sexual polarity in a divine way, then it's like, we got to take your page down. We can't use you as an influencer. It's just like,
Yeah.
what? But and so that is one of the biggest misconceptions, is that, I think. Others would be simple stuff like, I can't work with you if I don't have a partner. I can't come to a retreat if I don't have a partner or a spouse or a husband. That's another big misconception, when I'm like, but you have sex with yourself, right? Like, you have to have some kind of sexual exploratory practice,
Mm.
or self-pleasure, sexual self-pleasure practice alone, regardless if your wife is there or she's not there, or before you have a wife, you're having that experience with you. So why would you think that you couldn't come to retreat or couldn't work with me, irregardless of, if like, or is there contention upon whether you have a spouse? So that's another really big misconception. um the other ones I would say is that, like, I can help them just like in a text, or like, can you just help me solve this challenge real quick in a DM? Like, I'm like, or in one session. And I'll tell people, like, you didn't get like ED in once in
Exactly.
15 minutes. Like, how am I, like, I am a master and I know like every aspect of life, like physical, energetic, mental, emotional, causal, spiritual. I know all those bodies, so I know what I'm dealing with, but we got to take more time to solve this.
Without a doubt. And I've heard the same thing, when people are like, whoa, I've got to lose 15 pounds in a week. And I'm like, wait, but you didn't put those on in a week.
Exactly.
Well, maybe you went on like a Royal Caribbean cruise and you hit the buffet really hard, and maybe you did. But as we know, especially when we're after the age of 30, they don't come off. Those pounds or kilos do not come off in a day. It requires a lot more effort to take
A
them off.
lot more
Same
internet,
thing
a lot
goes with what you're talking about. If people have sexual shame, or if they have hangups, what some people would refer to as traumas,
more.
well, first of all, those may have happened in an instant, but they may have been with that person for their majority of their life. In which
Yes.
case, what happens then, and I'm sure you can agree with this, that myself as a certified body code and emotion code practitioner, when you start to peel the layers of the onion, if you get too far, you start to mess with somebody's self-identity. And so
Yeah.
that's something you have to, with grace, be very careful and cradle, because otherwise, literally, people can lose their sense of self and lose their mind. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful what you're talking about. And healing from trauma, it can be a really challenging process. So what advice would you offer to someone just beginning their journey toward that emotional, that physical recovery? Like, if they're not, let's say they're not able to work with you, they're in Bangalore, India, or something like that. But because we have a worldwide audience on this, we've got millions of people watching this, and I know they'd all love to know, where can they start?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question, and I'd say simple enough answer. There's always things that we can do, no matter what country you're in, what level of finances you have, or where you're beginning from, if you will. I think the most important decision a person can make is to have a love affair with their body, with their own body, not with someone else. People always say, I'm waiting for my love, or I need to love myself more, but like with their actual physical body. There was a long time when I just didn't like me. I didn't like my body. I didn't like what it represented because I had experienced so much pain and trauma. I had kind of gotten used to leaving my body, dissociating from my body, which is very normal in extreme trauma survivors, but also in men and women who have had maybe a unpleasant moment, and they maybe it wasn't repeated, but they put up a shield. The body does it actually naturally. It's the body's way of saving itself so that it can protect itself from the pain and the trauma, so it's not so overwhelming. Kind of happens also in childbirth. A lot of women don't know that the body has a threshold of pain that it's able to actually partake in. What happens is that doesn't fit with the doctor's timelines, and they want to make money, so they induce women, and when they give them pitocin, it actually throws off their threshold, because then it makes these the pressure waves, as I called it in my hypnobirthing, but contractions, if you will. It makes them longer than what they would normally have been, because I remember, because I was lucid during my birth, I would get to those waves where I was like, I'm done, I can't take another second, and it would come down, because I didn't induce, I let nature do its course.
Good.
But so the body does that when we're in fight or flight. It like, and I think with some animals, they have something that they like, kind of paralyzes them while they're going into, like, when they're being consumed by, the circle of life. I know I've seen it on some of the Discovery channels, like there's stuff that, like, so that they don't experience all of it, right? It's like the body's mechanism to protect itself. And what happens to a lot of men and women go through that, but then it stays there even when they're not experiencing the traumas anymore, right? They just go back to that moment, because it's like a synapse that wired together. So it's like, oh, I'm having sex with my wife, I'm in danger. Well, you're actually not, right? But that's what the body feels. So it goes back to that place where they kind of hover their body, they leave their body, they're not there. And so when you talk about like having a love affair with your body, it's like conditioning yourself to be okay inside of your body. I know that sounds weird, but like being embodied, like I always say, I don't say empowerment, because I think women have too much power as it is. I do not let my team knows, do not use that word at all. It's embodiment, being in your body and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Sounds very simple, but for many people, it's not that simple. Why do you think so many people drink and so many people take drugs or do marijuana or even ayahuascas and that stuff? I know the healing community loves that stuff, and I'm not saying that you can't do it and that you shouldn't do it. But people, how many ayahuasca journeys do you need? Do you really need 100 of those?
I know a few people that have done 100 plus. Not a few that are over 500. I'm like, whoa.
I understand fully. It's like these people want to leave their body. And if you cannot be in your body, you can't very easily be in a space, because listen, why did the yogis meditate? They meditated because, or why did they do yoga? They did yoga so that the body could sit and be in meditation for a long time.
Exactly.
If you were overweight, if you were inflexible, you can't sit. You can see I'm sitting in lotus, you can't see it. But I'm sitting in lotus. You can't do that if you're overweight, you have a big gut, your back. So they use the physical body to get themselves to spiritual places that they could interject in their energy body. So I tell people it starts with being able to be in your fucking body.
And to that point, since this is for the Pyramid Spiritual Society movement, and the founder, his name was Patrigi, and I have pyramids all over my house because this is a pyramid meditation channel. using the scalar energy of pyramids to affect the brain and to affect the body, because it's
I love it.
amazing energy.
It's mine too. It's like the downward pyramid. That's for Shakti.
Mm-hmm. And when you put them both together, you have the Merkaba, which is amazing.
Yes.
So the reason I bring that up is because Patrici, two of his very famous quotes, and he would tell this to people anytime they would ask, they'd have a problem or something, he would say, be with your breath and meditate daily. That was two of his biggest things. Be with your breath, meditate daily, and when our breath. So using our breath for people out there, just in like 2 minutes or less, what is an exercise or something that you could tell people who are out there, who have a partner, or maybe they're not only with themselves, but they want to increase that intimacy? What is something that they could do just to bring a little bit of Shakti Jennelle's magic into their world right now?
Yeah, so hand to heart breathing is the basic of basic. If you're with yourself, it's left hand over right. Why is it left over right? It's always left because it's the feminine side. We're in a masculine dominant world. Most of us are right-handed. So we want to really amp up the Shakti energy, right? So we start always with the left and our heart. And science has shown that when the hands are on the heart, I think they call it heart mapping. I think you've heard of this institute where they map heart and brain mapping. I'm saying it something like that.
Heart math, I believe.
Heart math, yes. So it's when the hand touches the heart, it releases endorphins immediately. That helps to soothe, helps to calm, and helps you to feel connected. So I do this every morning, just hand to heart breathing. And now, if you do have a partner with you, you can place your right hand in the center of their chest, and then your left hand on your heart, and then vice versa. So so basically their hand will go over your left hand, and your hand will go over their left hand. So it'll flip like that. So that what we're doing is we're locking the energy in. So that my hand's here, your left hand's on your chest, and then you put yours over like that. So we're crossed. And so just taking just a few moments to connect with your breath first. So I always say, you take a deep inhale in through your nose, and really as you're bringing in the air in, you're really allowing that your diaphragm to expand. And then as you exhale, it drops. So you want the diaphragm to drop. And then you do like three breaths just like that to really get yourself grounded. So it's like that, just 3 really deep. And then once you do that, you can connect with your partner that way. And what I say to do from that point is have the man, in this case, the Shiva energy. If you don't do man and women, I just say you pick the more dominant masculine energy, and that's Shiva.
Sure.
So, and then the other one, the more feminine energy, is Shakti. And you have the masculine energy lead the breathing. So they will guide the breath. So if you're breathing together, you can't fight.
No, of course.
If you're taking in oxygen together at the same time, it's very challenging for you to think of something negative to say or to be at war with this person, because you're actually being as close to a person as humanly possible, other than when you're giving birth or something like that, because you're literally breathing in unison, taking in oxygen together and releasing it out at the same time. That practice, and it's in my book that you can get, there's color descriptions and pictures so you can see exactly what's happening. That is one of the easiest things you can do every single day with yourself in the morning and with your spouse when they get off work, to just reset, recalibrate your consciousness, your connection, and your presence. And we know that intimacy is created when there's an equal amount of presence, surrender, vulnerability, authenticity, and that leads to intimacy.
That is so beautiful. Everybody out there, left hand on your heart, the one on top, give it to your partner, and it creates this amazing, like a torus field between the energy systems. And one thing that's always interesting, as somebody who for many years has worked on seeing the energy fields of people, and I've seen this actually illustrated in books, that when people are holding hands and they're in love, their auras create a heart around them. Which is,
Yes.
I think, where it
Yes.
probably originally came
Probably
from,
where it came from.
because your
Yes.
heart doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. It won't
No,
come
it
like
looks
this.
kind of wonky.
Well, it does its job. I don't care
It's
what it looks like as long
it,
as,
yeah.
and up
It
till
was a
now, it
beauty.
has never failed me once. All a guy about it. So, Jennelle, looking ahead, what is your vision for Shakti Living and beyond? Also your nonprofit. We didn't have a chance to get into that today,
No,
but
no,
we want people to be able to see Beyond Freedom International. And I want to know, how can our audience support your mission to empower others and themselves?
yeah, well, I'd say the easiest thing that you could do is get the book. It's a super way. I'm always giving back to organizations, my own and the survivors within my circles that we work with, as well as other organizations, because our survivors go out and basically pay it forward. We are just a small grassroots org, but we do the work because we have the direct connections with survivors that some organizations can't get to because they don't know them. So I'd say when you buy my book, a portion of the proceeds go back into helping survivors, because that's a mission. And I know not everyone can come to a retreat, not everyone can have a session with me. Maybe people don't even have like capabilities to do an online course, but you can buy a book on Amazon. And to me, I felt like that's a simple way that people can do that. And in return, a small percentage will go just directly into the work that we help in working with survivors. And that's holistic healing modalities, just like this. So that's a super simple thing you can do. What I see for Shakti Living in the next, couple years is really increasing my reach, doing more mainstream things like Bravo, getting on more big major television shows. I
Mm.
want to create uh like a brand for myself where it's like it's not so taboo. It's like everyone knew who Dr. Ruth was.
Yeah.
She was just beloved, and they knew who she was, and she was helpful and kind of funny and crass all in the same way. And I really feel like that's my next level, is like getting to a platform where it's like very public, very general mainstream audience, and no more of this like we have to filter this. It's like, no, we need this. This is helping us. Um, also, my next book I'm working on now already. And then, some really amazing supplements, because I feel that there's a disconnect with just saying, I have ED, I'm going to see my doctor, and I'm getting a blue pill. I don't like that. So I've been working on formulations, and I actually have one for men. So looking into some, investors and things like that to really help push this completely natural tantric herb Viagra, if you will, for
Nice.
men. So that's what I want to do. I want to help more people heal sexually. And the quickest way to do that, I think, is get into the biggest platforms so it's normalized and not so taboo. And I think that will open up many doors.
That's so beautiful. And like the Beatles said, all you need is love. And
That's
this
right.
this world right now needs it more than it ever has before.
Yes.
Just if anybody has any doubt about that, just turn on the TV. Only for
Right.
as long as you want to feel miserable.
Only for a few minutes if you want to feel terrible. Yeah.
Right? And
And turn
so,
it back off.
Jennelle, thank you so much for being here. This is such an honor to have you with us. And for everybody out there, Jennelle, how can they find your website or your book? Could you please say the name one more time, and
Yeah.
your website? I want every single person who watches this to go and get involved with what you're doing, because you save lives one heartbeat and one expression of love at a time. And that's what we all need, no matter where you are.
Oh, thank you so much, Nate. So it's Shakti's Living. It's Shakti's with an S and then Living. And then Amazon, if you go to Amazon, I think Amazon basically everywhere now, right? And
Mhm.
it's just Unf Your Sex Life. I mean, that title's pretty easy to remember. I don't think you'll have a problem. And please, if you do buy the book, leave a review. It
Yes.
helps. Hopefully it's 5 stars, but even if it's not, leave one. So, it just helps us to move forward so the book gets out there more. And buy some for your friends. They're like $1.99 on Kindle right now. They're so cheap. And I think that the paperbacks, like, I don't know, they're all like basically half off because we're in the launch phase. So
Oh,
appreciate the support. Go buy the book. It's an illustrated book, so there's pictures in it. You can put it on your coffee table in your bedroom. I want people to use it and it to be like a guide, like the stuff I said, that's all in there. So yeah,
that's
amazing.
wonderful. Everybody out there, shaktisliving.com, on F Your Sex Life on Amazon. Enjoy. And that's one thing that I just absolutely love about what you're doing, Jennelle, is it is all centered around joy
Yes.
and
Bliss.
bringing
Yep.
more joy. And
Right.
I don't think there's anybody in the world that wants less joy. And if they just maybe haven't ever experienced it the way that it can be, because once you get a taste of it, you're like, oh, so
I want
this is why I
more.
came here. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. That's exactly being in a blissed out state and connecting deeper with those you love. I mean, that's the message. The tantra, all that stuff, that's the heart of the message right there. And everything else, it is what it is. But don't let that detour you from diving into some of this work because of things you've heard. The message is love, the message is divine union and being more blissed out. And I think we all want more of that in our lives today.
Amen. With that said, Jennelle, thank you once again for being here. And to
Oh,
everybody out there who is watching, listening, the millions of people who are receiving this message, I would like to
yes.
say once again, Nate Zeleznick here with Integrated Ascension Method. I am so excited for what you're going to do with this. Please make sure you drop a comment down below, like, share, ring the bell, all the things that you can do to make sure that more of this gets put into your inbox and into your reality. This is going to be an amazing year coming up in 2025. The more love we have, the better it's going to be. And with that said, I would like to wish all of you an amazing now, an amazing day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, but do so on purpose. And we'll see you in the next episode with another amazing world-changing guest. Thanks so much. Hey, my friends, what an incredible journey we've shared today. If you felt even a spark of inspiration or power, don't let it stop here. Take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this with someone who needs it. Seriously, think of just one person who could benefit from what you've experienced today, because together, we're building something so much bigger than ourselves. This is more than a show. It's a movement, a space where leaders, visionaries, and seekers like you come to transform, elevate, and align. So don't just follow, become a part of the community. Subscribe to the PMC YouTube channel and follow the I Am Integrated Ascension Method everywhere you can. And let's create something extraordinary together. I'm truly excited to share with you your next step to transformation. So head over to iampure.energy and sign up for my free Perfect Breath class. You'll unlock the secret to mastering your breath, your energy, and ultimately your life. And for those who are ready to go deeper, our masterclass and weekly sessions are waiting to take you to that next level. Make sure that you're here next week because, as always, I'll be sitting down with another world-changing guest, someone who will blow your mind and give you tools to rise even higher. And don't come alone. Invite your friends, your team, or anyone who's ready to grow. And let's expand this circle of impact one breath at a time. Until then, remember, your potential is limitless. Your power is real. And it all begins with a single breath. Together, we're creating the future. I'll see you next time, my friend. Together we rise. See you soon.